All right, next up tonight is James Pressler, but just call him Jim. You can call me Ray, but just call him Jim. He is from Park Forest. Jim has been writing research his entire career and researching writing his entire career. What do you think of that? What a coincidence. He's been writing creatively for the better part of 2 decades. He has had a dozen short stories published, and his first novel, The Book of Cain, came out last year. Usually he writes short fiction and narrative essays. The novel was a discussion about salvation that became 300 pages of one character's adventure. Tonight, he's going to be reading a piece called The Price of Sobriety. Remember I mentioned before that we occasionally do writing assignments to kind of break up the flow of things. This was our last writing assignment last month, which was, and the prompt was about your most embarrassing moments. The idea being March, St. Patty's Day. People drink on St. Patty's Day, except for Sharon. She tends to drink all the time, apparently. And sometimes you drink so much to the point of embarrassment. Jim Pressler. Jim.
Okay, thank you. Now I want to point out, after the whole introduction about St. Patrick's Day and the things we do and the things we don't remember until they're too late, what inspired me from the particular prompt of our most embarrassing moment was not the drunken things that we're embarrassing about. It was actually the flip side of that, so I thought I'd write about it. That's why it's called The Price of Sobriety. Basically, it's... Well, hopefully by the end of this story, I can convince you that even as I was crawling barefoot in the dark down the hallway back to my dorms, I wasn't drunk. I wasn't hungover. I was as sober as anything, and that was the problem. See, unlike most college kids, I would go, like, my first year, I would sometimes spend 2 or 3 consecutive days clean and sober and just focusing on studying and all those little things. I realized how brilliant this was at the time because it seemed like I could focus, pay attention, and not get kicked out of school. Well, for everything there is a price. You see, I realized that for all of my peers that would get drunk and do stupid things, if they were drunk, they were no longer stupid. It was disorderly. It was out of hand. It was a rite of passage. If you're sober, stupid remains stupid. And then you have to claim that one. Well, now let me take you. Typical morning in the dorms. By dorms, me and 10 friends had the last 60 feet of hallway in a dorm that was kind of based, imagine a 17th century Scottish prison. It was a very long, dark, windowless hallway with our little cells at the side. 2 lights hanging from the ceiling to illuminate the whole stretch. This was fine for what we needed to do. And occasionally, if we woke up early in the morning, we had a little time to go out, stretch. Bert and I would throw a ball down the hallway and just have a simple time. And then that young adult energy came out. Jason, from one of the side rooms, saw a ball going back and forth and apparently had to do something about it. Grabbed a cafeteria tray, leapt out and tried to knock it out of the air. Simple. But these are college kids. And they have all this energy, and they see something like that, and then they knew a game of catch had changed, and it would never change back. It would just keep growing and mutating, and eventually all 10 of the people in the hallway had now morphed a game of catch into this wild sort of pseudo-anarchy we called tray ball. A lot of freshmen here, so that's all we came up with. It was this wild collection of running from door to door and pitch balls and swinging with trays and trying to knock people over and throwing the ball. All of this stuff, it was wild, it was amazing, but the best part is that towards the end, I was winning. That's all I knew, and that's all I cared about. We were up by one shoe. All of our shoes were piled up, because that's how you keep score in tray ball, for those who don't know. And it was all about just pitching, getting it past the batter, and then a bunch of other rules, which I think are still being made up to this day. But the important part was they were down to their last tray guy. Again, they're freshmen. That's what they came up with. So, putting this all together, I was in my moment, a sober moment. All I had to do is strike the guy out. He came out with an extra large tray from the West Side cafeteria, and I had a challenge. Well, no, there's no brush back pitches. You go straight with the hard cheese right there. So I did. Sailed that first pitch in. He swung. He was way behind it. All that air resistance from swinging a tray at a tennis ball. Uncharted territory. He didn't know. Strike one. But he was smart. I knew he'd adjust. I just needed to throw harder. Next pitch, I really put some gas. I mean, there was some mustard on a hot dog in that one. He barely missed it. Make or break. I was able to concentrate. I was young, strong, no blues in me. I kicked back and put every ounce into that last pitch. Now, you ever see those blooper shows where the pitcher's just throwing one in and it gets away and it ends up like 15 rows in the stands? Guilty. But we weren't in Wrigley. We were in this hallway. We're even throwing a ball. It was like putting a dart in a mail slot. And it got away at full speed. So not only did it take out the light hanging down right in front of us, creating an electrical blue-white explosion, blinding everyone in the hall, but it took out the second light with a second flashbulb detonation going off and just jarring everyone, but worse yet, leaving everyone with light popping in their eyes as they were now immersed in darkness, barefoot, in a hallway of broken glass. For the good part, they were by their dorm room doors. They just entered, turned around, and shut the door using a combination of force and a very mean obscenity about me. My dorm room was 60 feet away at the darkest part of the windowless hall that was full of broken glass. So I paid the price. I got to the far edge of the hall, groped my way down to the baseboard, felt around for little pieces of glass as I inched my way forward like a church mouse by the baseboard, just trying not to draw the cat's attention. And slowly and surely, I went through the gauntlet and made it to my dorm room. And I can guarantee you none of that would have happened if I wasn't sober.
I like that. I like that. Kind of a storytelling exercise as well. Very cool. Very, very cool.